this is Ray, and in this video I'm going to go through my new diet. And my new diet is not like a bodyweight diet, but it's a mental diet. So I was listening to Jay Shetty the other day, and his podcast episode was going about like 4 exercises to reduce your mental weight. They were quite like a lot to implement in my life, so I am actually starting with 2 exercises that he went through. And I want to actually keep myself accountable, so I'm just making this video beforehand, and next week I will create another video on how my progression was on like reducing my mental weight. And especially now when we spend a lot of time at home, we have a lot of thoughts that are going on in our mind because we have less distractions around us. And so obviously like we have a lot of thoughts all the time because it might be from like past traumas, like from fears, from worries, from a lot of different things, and it kind of like makes us like head explode so much because there's so many thoughts, and sometimes they are good thoughts, sometimes they are like bad thoughts, but it just is weighting a lot. So I'm going to actually do 2 exercises that I want to implement for the next 7 days, and one of them is a mental diary. So obviously we have a lot of different diaries, like a daily diary that you'll write down like how your day was, or even like an exercise diary. But I think this one is actually really good because a mental diary is actually more about the activities that you do and also like the feelings that it brings up with you. So for example, what Jay Shetty was talking about is like, for example, like meditation, you feel like more like relaxed, more grounded, and it makes you kind of like set up yourself for the day. So keeping track of activities, you can also like associate like this activity, what kind of like feelings does it give to you, or how does it make you feel. So for example, what I have been doing during lockdown was I've been starting to do like 10-minute exercises every single day first thing that I wake up, because it made me feel really, really good, and it made me kind of like set up myself for the rest of the day. So this mental diary is really useful because if you can track like what activities you're doing, you can also like write down like, this is the activity, for example like exercise, how does it make you feel? It makes me feel like energetic, it makes me feel like fit. And then you can like list down different exercise and then what kind of feeling that you associate to it. And if it gives you like good feelings, then do it like more often in your day. So for example, for me, like I don't really meditate a lot, but if I meditate I feel really good. So the goodness feeling of meditation, that is something that I want to experience more, then I have to meditate a bit more as well. So if I can like track down like all the activities that I'm doing during the day, because we actually do so much, but sometimes we lose track of like what we're doing. If we can keep all those activities and see what feelings it associates with, then we can like make conscious decisions on like how we want to feel our activity, our days with our activities with. So this is something that I will keep track of, and I really hope to report back on how I chosen my activities based on like what feelings it associates with. So that is a very, very good one, and I hope I reduce my mental weight, because I'm a real thinker and I'm a deep thinker. So a lot of things happening to me, I always kind of like keep those experiences at the weight, and I don't really like detox myself of past experiences and just let things go. So I think like this one, the mental diary, is really helpful like to keep track of your activities, but also kind of like keep track of like the different thoughts that are going in your mind. So that's my first exercise that I will hopefully you really benefit from. And my second one is creating like a diet plan. And a diet plan is not only like for your body, but also like the one in your mental health. So so what am I actually like consuming on a daily basis, right? So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I get like so much inspiration from like podcasts, especially like the one about like personal growth, mental well-being, psychology, like so many podcasts. It really gives me inspiration, and that's something that I really want to implement in my diet plan. But for example, I have on my phone that I automatically like see like some snippets of news articles, and when I read that, it does give me like a bit of like anxiety as well. So I want to actually reduce that a little bit more. That obviously I want to be knowing what's going on in the world, but at the same time I don't want to like overconsume myself with news, especially like bad news, because I know that it kind of like subconsciously goes in my mind and it affects like my mood and things like that. So I want to reduce that like more. And what I also want to what I've noticed when I observe my own behavior is whenever I'm on social media, I'm quite competitive, and I have also made this video about like how to not compare yourself. But I'm quite competitive, and when I look at social media, I'm like, oh, you know, I wish I had this, or I wish I was like so much farther. But at the same time, it doesn't really contribute to my life, and I know that it creates like a bit of anxiety. So I really need to reduce my time on social media. So I just want to like really create like awareness around like my mental well-being, and also like reducing weight. So I think like these two exercises were extremely like helpful. In Jay Shetty's podcast, he went through 4 exercises actually, but I actually want to go to 2 exercises first, and then kind of like report back on how I feel, because otherwise I will get like an overload of things that I have to remember and things that I have to implement. So hopefully I will have reduced my mental weight in a week time. And yeah, and hopefully this is something that, you know, that inspires you to also kind of like do. And like also please share your results with me, because I'm very, very curious how you have experienced it. I obviously will share with you next week how I've experienced it. And yeah, and hopefully, you know, we can like calm our minds a bit more and feed our minds with like nice things that fuel our feelings and make us more happy. So yeah, this is my video. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week. Bye.